welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Believe it or not, it's September 3rd, and the Pirates are in first place by a game. Welcome to our show. We appreciate you watching us on Verizon 32, Comcast 7 in Bethel Park, YouTube worldwide, and also on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. We just cracked 600 over the holiday weekend. I want to thank all the people who are going to remain anonymous. We had some great help with that, so I appreciate the people that helped push us over on a holiday weekend. We're getting some great feedback. I even talked to a guy in San Francisco today, and he goes, "Where can I find it?" YouTube. He was checking it out. He said, "Nice looking show there." So, hey guys, keep up the good work. Thanks for the great feedback from all the fans here at Bethel Park. Appreciate you letting us wander around in Sips and Dormont and have a great show here. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Chip the Prophet Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, and we are missing, I don't have any promos tonight, just one, but this is Zach Brenner, and he's out there getting his plumbing master's license, whatever he told me. He's going to be missing for about 11 weeks, 12 weeks, so we may have to show little Z's picture a little more often. And right now we haven't replaced him. He's got the seat. We're going to pull a Cowher that if you're injured, he got hit with a plumber's pipe, so he can't show up for a while. He won't lose his seat due to injury. And Smoking Jim told me how Cowher is and was, so we're going to stay with that rule. Now, we always start our show with what's on our mind, and I'm going to start it out with Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
we got green.
You got to see Levine. But, if everybody out there want to see what a NFL starting quarterback looks like, just wanted to show everybody. Congratulations to Jeanette's own Terrell Pryor. He will be the starting quarterback this week for the Oakland Raiders, and you'll get my prediction on how he'll do against Indianapolis this week. But what's on my mind is my Spotlight Player of the Week, and I've been very hard and critical on this guy. And, Heisman Trophy winner, Johnny Manziel, and I've done 180 degrees. I learned that from you last week. I watched the game this past Saturday, and as an NFL scout, I really didn't take a look at Johnny Manziel much last year. A little bit that I did see of him, I didn't think he had an NFL arm yet as a freshman, but I just mainly concentrate on guys who's eligible to go into the NFL draft, the juniors and seniors. But for the first time I watched him play Saturday, he was undergoing a 30-minute suspension from the game, and so he couldn't play in the first half against the tough Rice team. And Rice was giving them all they could handle. I think it was 21-14 at halftime. And with about 20 seconds to go before halftime, Johnny Manziel ran through the tunnel alone. He wanted to get in there, and the crowd was going crazy. Well, he comes out in the second half, and he fires 3 touchdown passes, short touchdowns. I'm not sure what kind of arm he has, but boy, is he pretty fast. He took off and ran. But when he won me over was when he mocked signing an autograph after a touchdown. And I says, man, I'm sold on this guy. I'm a Johnny Manziel's fan. I tell you what, this is the cockiest and most arrogant guy since 1988 when Deion Primetime Sanders was playing for Florida State. And like what Bobby Bowden did in 1988, he looked the other way. And I think the black coach for Texas A&M, if he's smart, which right now he's not being very smart, but if he's smart, he'll let Johnny Manziel do whatever the heck he wants to do. And going to Alabama, got to come to town in about 3 weeks because this kid seems to play better when he can play out of control. So that's my Spotlight Player of the Week, Johnny Cocky Manziel.
Wow, thanks. Thanks, Smoking Jim. We'll revisit that Johnny football player that I know, but that's another story. Now, what's on your mind? Chip Hayner?
Well, what's on my mind? Alan kind of alluded to it slightly a little bit earlier, but it's September the 3rd. Pirates have 80 wins. a number which my friend to my left here, Smoking Jim, said the Pirates wouldn't even achieve by October 1st. And they got their 79th win and equaled last season's win total on August the 31st, which is a pretty impressive statistic, being that they didn't get their 79th win last year until October the 2nd. But, thinking about what's we're right on the precipice of right now is the fact that the Pirates are getting ready to put to rest the demons from the streak. And, the 81st win will be for the fans, that'll be a monumental number. When they get the 82nd win, that will be, they guaranteed us a winning season. And the questions are, will the Pirates celebrate? Will they do this? Will they do that? And, I think as fans that none of us have a right to celebrate right now because we're, 5/6 of the way through the season. We still have a month of baseball left to play, and the Pirates really haven't accomplished anything yet, okay? They win their 82nd game, great. The streak's over, but really what we as baseball fans need to, embrace is the pennant race. And instead of celebrating the 81st or the 82nd win, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this month of baseball, and I'm going to enjoy the first pennant race in Pittsburgh in 21 years. The Pirates, by winning their 80th game yesterday, the last time they won 80 games was, I believe, in 1993?
Yeah.
Or was it 92?
No, 92.
92. So, that's significant in one aspect, but why, as sports fans or as Pittsburgh sports fans, should we celebrate mediocrity? Because celebrating your 81st win would be like, okay, so if they end up 81-81, that's an accomplishment. No, it's not. What would be an accomplishment is for them to win the Central Division this year, make it to the playoffs, and make a run. And who knows? Maybe winning a World Series trophy. Looking at the Pirates compared to the rest of the teams in Major League Baseball right now, they stack up very well against anybody. They're playing solid defense. Their pitching staff has been the star of the team all year. They've got enough veteran presence in the lineup, and the trade moves that Neil Huntington made in the last week will benefit us well for the stretch run. So instead of celebrating the 81st or the 82nd win, I'm going to celebrate the National League Central Division crown at the end of the month.
We'll revisit some of that. I have some points there, but we'll talk about that. We got to also get a guy out of pirate prison, Frank Murgy, so we need to get 82 wins to do that. I'll talk about that, too. Okay?
Anything Frank needs.
Yeah, we'll help him out. That's a Facebook thing. We'll take care of that.
We'll help a brother out.
Well, what's on my mind here is, first I want to congratulate the Bethel Park football team, 38-0 over Plum. So I won't be getting haircuts at Azazu anymore because Marianne is from Plum. So we'll have to work on that. So we'll do our best. But congratulations to Bethel Park. This week they have a little tougher opponent, Mount Lebanon. So we wish them well in their game with Mount Lebanon this week coming up. So go Blackhawks. Now, the other thing on my mind is the Pitt football team. I watched the game a little bit, was out there, and it was just amazing the way Florida State come in. And they were just so confident, all the people there, the players and everything else. And for Pitt to walk down the field in that first, opening drive, you just felt if they got lucky. Smoking Jim had talked about some things, keeping momentum alive. Well, hear your own coach, which the jury's still out on Chris. He has been the, offensive guy with Russell and everything in Wisconsin and had some success there. But it looks like they don't have a plan there, or whatever the plan is, they change a little bit. Like, how does Tyler Boyd start out like a monster? I know he's from, Clairton? But you had liked him as a player and even had him on one of your many shows. Now, there's a good athlete.
Yes, sir.
And in his first game, he has a great game, even a highlight reel, and they didn't hardly use him. So to me, you got to straighten some of that stuff out. And I think as the team matures a little bit and Chris gets a feel for his team, hopefully that they'll do much better. Like maybe get 2 wins or 3. So I'm hopeful. They are in the ACC. Now we'll revisit.
Well, the one thing for
Go ahead. We'll revisit now. You could toss that right in.
Well, the one thing that Pitt made a mistake on is they made Florida State feel too much at home when they had the rib cook-off.
No, I think the thing that made Florida State feel more at home was there was more Florida State fans in the city of Pittsburgh than there were Pitt Panther fans. Saturday night,
Well,
walking back from the Pirate game Saturday night, I mean, all I could see was maroon everywhere, FSU jerseys everywhere, the Marriott City Center. They were coming out of the woodwork like cockroaches.
Well, I think we outnumbered them. I think we had them 33,000 to 32,000. Is what I think. That was my count. It was close.
You make them feel at home by allowing them to play a home game in your stadium. No, but to speak to about the Pitt football team, and the jury is out on Paul Chryst. The only thing that gives him a get out of jail free card with me, as far as that's concerned, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt for a little while longer, is the fact that he walked into a complete debacle. After what Todd Graham did to the Pitt program, and then, the fallout from Dave Wanstead, the other guy that was a coach for 3 days, and then
he didn't have to get out of jail free card. That was a problem.
No, he didn't. But there was recruits coming, there was recruits going, there's people jumping ship, there's malcontents and everything, and you really, you got to give him a couple of years to get his players in. But he's supposed to be an offensively minded coach, and I would like to see that happen sometime in his tenure at Pitt.
Well, my thing is you got some of these players running and catching, and that's what you got. You recruited these guys, whether they're freshmen or not. They performed. Then you don't use them. It's like all of a sudden the playbook here. We're going this way, guys. No, here we go.
Yeah, well,
and that doesn't cut it.
Well, and also last night was a good bench watermark for the Pitt program, because now they see, how much better they've got to get, because, they played the best team in the ACC. They won the ACC championship last year.
But they lost a lot of players. So imagine the talent that they had last year. The score would have been 90-0.
But you know what? They lose talent, they get talent, because they continue to recruit talent, and, people want to go where there's good athletes playing.
Think how much better Pitt would have been, Chip, if they had Russell Shell running that football.
I have to tend to agree with you, and I don't know what all the reasons were why he was gone and why he wasn't given another chance, and I guess we'll never know, because that's not going to be shared with us. But by far he was the most talented young man in the backfield for Pitt, and to lose him, I'd like to know what the point is that you're making by not letting him back on the team. I mean, there should have been some type of an explanation.
He has the other players listening.
I agree.
He got their attention. He needed to get respect.
Yeah, but
that's what it is sometimes.
But you want the
with these young
respect of
kids.
your fan base too, because ultimately they're the ones that support your program. And playing in a 65,000 seat stadium and it's a third full. Isn't a way to recruit kids. And, when they go, who's the next team they go and playing at home? Is it
Duke, I think.
No. It's somebody. It's somebody from.
I don't know. Get the
you
schedule.
give me tickets.
Google that
It's
schedule.
not Youngstown. I know that.
You can give me tickets to
Google.
that game. I probably wouldn't go. And the scalpers, they won't even give you. You try to get them back to the scalpers, they look at you and laugh. I can't sell those.
No doubt. Well, I want to touch a little bit on Johnny Manziel and the Skittles and beer guy. And on Facebook, I appreciated how he was shaking guys' hand and mocking the autograph, because that shows what a joke the NCAA is on the rules and how they enforce them. The rule is you're not supposed to get paid. They investigated him fully, Smoking Jim, and he got money.
Yeah.
Now, you told your story about being in college and getting money, whether it was by hook or crook, I don't know.
Yes,
but
sir.
you got it. You admitted
Yes,
to
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
Statute of limitations is over.
Yes, sir.
Johnny Manziel, the statute of limitations didn't run out, but they gave him 30 minutes. What did he make? $300,000? $500,000?
At least.
Who knows?
At least.
So I got to give him credit for being the greatest scam artist and getting away with it. And then who's in charge of the NCAA? They investigated, found him guilty. Now you're guilty, convicted, and what do you get? Half an hour?
Well,
Half an
there-
hour.
Then he makes a mockery of it by faking signing autographs after his touchdown. I love it. But here's what makes me mad. Dez Bryant, who I had the number 1 receiver coming out in the draft, the number 2 receiver was my pick for the Steelers, Antonio Brown. But and they pretty much shaping up to that right now in the NFL.
It took a little bit.
Living up to my ratings. But this is what makes me mad. Dez Bryant had a cheeseburger with Deion Sanders, which is not an NCAA violation. The NCAA rolled up on the brother, and he was scared. So the first thing he did, being scared, was he lied. He says, "No, I didn't have," because he didn't know whether it was a violation or not.
Right.
And they suspended him for 10 games for lying to them. Number one, it wasn't a violation. You shouldn't have been asking him questions anyway. And number two, how are you going to suspend a guy 10 games, end his college career like that? And Johnny Manziel, who's probably got $500,000 in the bank, by signing 4,400 different articles with 3 different brokers.
Yes.
And he gets 30 minutes and he's thumbing his nose at the NCAA.
And that just goes to show you how much of a joke it is the way the NCAA doles out its punishment. They pick and they choose. Now, I don't know if somebody had it in for Dez Bryant, if there were other things that were going on that somebody felt he needed to be taught a lesson. But I mean, you know, the way that Johnny Manziel blatantly, and then when his coach was reprimanding him because, you know, the act itself was funny, okay? But it was foolish because it cost his team a 15-yard penalty. So he hurt his team, and the coach is talking to him, and he just totally blew off the coach, like walked away, like,
I love that.
yeah, you know, like, I don't have to listen to you. Who are you?
But
You're
he's
only
right.
the head coach.
He just beat the NCAA.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. He beat the whole league on being guilty. He just got away with it. So what's a coach? Your coach doesn't mean anything. He's showing up. He's drunk. He got Skittles. He's spitting out Skittles, you know, when they hit him. That's what his dad said. I can't even make this up. His dad said that. What kind of character? When you talk about athletes, your dad says that about you, Chip.
What's going to happen soon here in you know, the 5 super conferences in college football? They're going to break away from the NCAA, and the NCAA is going to look pretty foolish because, you know, they're making these super conferences now, and they're becoming more and more powerful. And to be honest with you, they don't need the NCAA. They could broker their own television contracts and ultimately stick more money in their pockets because the NCAA is a joke.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just being the mild way of putting it. I'd like to get a little more colorful, but
Off
this
air,
is a family
show.
program.
We'll have a show off air with some
No,
Chipisms
yeah, some
that are a little
yeah. So,
expletive deletives. But anyhow, I want to touch on the little celebration for the generation that lost what even a pennant race is. I post that on Facebook because I see pennant chase that the MLB wants to say it's a pennant race. We haven't had one in so long, people don't even realize it. So now that they do, they can have a little celebration because this is fan-driven, media-driven. They made sensationalism out of it. That it does mean something to the fans for 81. Like my son, 22 years old, he doesn't know what a winning team is. And a lot of people, even 10 years beyond that, they were saying, whether they were out of diapers or not, they don't know what it's like or remember. It's fun. Like Chip said, look, you're packing the house. It's fun. So give them a little bit of props. They can celebrate. We got 81. I prefer 82 because that means you're a winner. Then you move on.
see, when Alan and I were growing up, you know, and
Tell 'em.
the Pittsburgh Pirates were contending for the championship every year. You know, they were always in the run.
That's
for
back
playoffs.
when Duquesne was better than Pitt, huh? in
Oh,
basketball.
yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, back when Norm
Smoking
Nixon
Jim,
was-
you've been reading history books.
back when
B.B.
Norm-
Flannery. I watched the B.B. Flannery show.
And he was on our show
on
once.
Sips.
But you know, I mean, the Pirates used to, you know, every year, you know, well into my teens, Pirates contended every year, and it was like, okay, well, we didn't win the pennant this year, but we'll be back fighting for it again next year. And you know, and we played against some really, some of the better teams of the eras, like there
Pete
was
Rose and the Reds.
the Big Red Machine, the Cincinnati Reds. We beat the Baltimore Orioles twice, and the Baltimore Orioles in the '70s were as good a baseball team as
420
game winners in
pitchers.
1971.
Really?
4.
Yeah.
Really?
They had 420 game winners, and we
In
beat
one
them in
season?
7.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
in one season.
This is why we have some history here. You guys don't realize it.
Wow.
So that's why
But I mean, you know,
I've been disgruntled, but I'm not. Thanks to Chip and his Kool-Aid. If it weren't for that grape Kool-Aid, I wouldn't have jumped on so quick.
John.
But the Bucko bandwagon is still open for people that want to jump on board.
Oh, yeah.
We got a month to go. We'll talk some more Pirates in a couple seconds.
Sure we will.
But I want to revisit, or not revisit, we're done with the revisiting. Sips Sports Bar. Come there. Smoking Jim got to announce some of the guests we're going to have because I don't even know. He's lining up guests like crazy. But I wanted to tell you that go to Sips. Sunday night, they got trivia night. Monday night is Pittsburgh Sports Line night. You can get there around 7. We're there till almost 9. You'll hear all kind of sports, meet a lot of people from models, stars, singers, sports figures, local, you know, sports nuts, and
Comedians,
business.
you name it. Frank Nicotero.
We cover it all.
In from L.A.
We cover all of
He
that.
watches our show. Can you believe that?
Definitely. We're worldwide now. I told you. Just on Verizon 32 through the whole Pittsburgh area. So we have a lot of people. Tuesday night is the pizza. Campidi's Pizza, 50 cents a slice. Shout out to Dawn Campidi. I know your wife's still watching.
We love your pies, Don.
Yeah, I like it with all the sausage and pepperoni and everything else.
Man, that
It's on-
pepperoni's the best in the
It's the
city.
best.
The best in the city.
Then on Wednesday night, this is becoming more and more popular. The Smokin' Jim Ladies Night. $1 drinks for the ladies. And Smokin' Jim's been making appearances. Batman shows up, and then he's gone. Sometimes with Robin, only the female Robin. So we don't know who he'll bring. So look out, watch out, Dan, who makes the coffee for you. Coffee's good. Thursday night is the wing night. Special 25-cent wings. We've eaten the wings. Friday night, I think karaoke. Saturday night, different people, entertainment. And there's 4 to 7 happy hour, free parking. Watch which side of the street you park on. And I want to shout out to Renee from the Market District because she knows and repeats some of the stuff we talk about and interrupt. She watches our show, Smokin' Jim, and she says she appreciates what you say, Chip say, little Z, because she was from Munhall. Guys are asking her, how did you become an expert on sports?
Really?
And she half an hour I'm talking in the Market District for a couple things. Thanks, Renee. We had a great conversation. I had some caramel popcorn at Gourmet Popcorn.
Really?
While I was there, they just started selling it at the Market
How is
District.
it the free food falls
I
into
don't
that?
know. It's a coincidence.
Do you look malnourished when you go out there?
I know. I'm losing
Maybe
weight.
it's just because you walk around with a bib on.
But yeah, thanks for Renee watching. She got a stop up at Sips. That's why I brought it up. She may come up with some friends. She appreciates what we're doing. And thanks to everybody else. See you at Sips. We got Claudio Rosano, the CMU baseball coach. We got a bunch of other people. Who do you got coming, Smokin' Jim? You told me a couple. Any commitments there yet?
Well,
we'll leave that.
We have one of the top ring car girls in the country making her second appearance, Erica Stevenson.
She was just in
will be
Weirton at
there.
a boxing match. We'll have to hear one of the War Saunders girls.
Well, I
right?
can't wait to see her.
Okay, well, we'll look for some more people. We're lining up some others that said they'll be there. We may have a full house. We did 13 the last week. That was one of the top interviewing sessions we had. We don't want to be that many, but come on out. We'll get you on the show. We also have Eric Boyce, and he's
Yes.
MMA type of guy. He's going to bring some trophies. That's Bill Boyce, his son, that master photographer that puts all those pictures out there on Facebook, and then everybody else goes crazy with that. So Eric will be in the house there with trophies. We'll have a great interview there. All right, let's go to one of my favorite sections here. Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talk machine. I appreciate that. And I tell you what, Fiction and Fact comes from about 10 years ago. And people in the city of Pittsburgh that watch the Steeler pregame show, they love the color analyst, Edmund Nelson. Edmund Nelson was in the house as a special guest. And we also had former Pittsburgh Steelers first-round draft pick linebacker, back when they used to draft good linebackers in the first round. Robin Cole was there. Also have Ty Miller, the host of Championship Chase. Bill Neal and the legendary Eddie Jeffries was there on the show as well. And one thing that about Edmund, who's a friend of mine, whose son was a star running back as a junior and MVP of Upper St. Clair's football team before Edmund transferred him down to Tampa Bay to play for his brother, is that Edmund Nelson played at Auburn University. And he came here as a nose guard, and Edmund Nelson got a great voice, and you see him, he does a good job on football. And I was really surprised when the Steelers hired him for their preseason, but I shouldn't have been, because he has a communication degree from Auburn University.
Wow.
And the way that he made money in Auburn, it was against the rules to have a job at Auburn as a scholarship football athlete. You can't work.
Wow.
So what he did is he changed his name. And I forget the name, but it was something rock, some kind of, and he got a job as a DJ overnight at a rock and roll, a country and western
That's
station.
what I was going to say.
Country and western station, which is my favorite music.
I know, we've heard. We're trying to get you to get into the funk.
So he did some good things, and a lot of people don't realize too with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if he still has the record, but for a long time, for about 20 years, he had the single game sack record, 4.5 sacks in one game from a nose guard position. So he just wasn't just a big body out there. And of course, Robin Cole was an outstanding linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as I finish up the Fiction and Fact, please tune in Saturday. I don't know if it's 7:30 or 8 o'clock, but I'll be making my second appearance on Championship Chase. I don't know if it's on Channel 11 or 53, but check your TV guides, either 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
Hold it, check our Facebook page.
Check the Facebook page.
I'll post it up for my man Smoking Jim. Any help that he needs promoting something, he comes to me.
There you go.
And he doesn't even check the Facebook page.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
We'll put it out there, but that Champion Chase, it was a great show last year. The only thing I didn't like, and I have to keep bringing it up, is your hero, Ray Lewis, was in the commercial on that. Okay? Now, if that's there, I'm turning it right off. I put up with it last year because that's the first time I saw you live. And this was a live show on the Champion Chase, buddy, as far as I know. And it was out there. It was nice to see a champion show. So we'll look forward to that, my friend.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you, Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
All right, now we got one of my favorite segments here, because I believe in this information. It's Chips Trivia Time.
Chips Trivia Time. Some interesting little tidbits of information that have come across my desk. You like that come across my desk?
It did. It actually did.
August 31st, one of the greatest left-handers to ever play the game, set the National League record at the time of striking out 18 batters in a 9-inning game, Sandy Koufax.
All right.
Of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the reason I bring up Sandy Koufax, because Sandy Koufax was probably one of the greatest left-handers that ever pitched. And his career was cut short by injuries that nowadays, people go see Dr. James Andrews and get fixed. But another thing I heard was listening to what's going on with Wandy Rodriguez. Dr. Andrews examined his arm, and structurally there's nothing wrong, but they think it may be more of an arthritic condition, which is the exact same thing that Koufax had. So I hope that they can find a way to get Wandy back on the mound. Certainly he would be a big boon for us. Also on August the 31st, back in 2001, a few years ago, I don't know if many people pay attention to the Little League World Series, but there was a little young gentleman who pitched his team to the Little League World Series. His name was Danny Almonte.
Unhittable.
30 years old.
He was unhittable.
30 years old.
And people were wondering why he had to shave in between innings.
He's 30.
Because he was supposed to be 12 years old. And they found out that his birth certificate was falsified, but it was really actually 14 when he pitched in the World Series. But this is the day when that all came to a head. So I thought that was something of note to take around. And in 2006, on August the 31st, the Chicago White Sox became the first team in Major League history to hit 200 home runs in 7 straight seasons.
Wow.
Okay, that's one.
Didn't Babe Ruth do that on his own?
I don't know about the Babe, but and then speaking about home runs, because I like to we just recently hit 600 likes on our Facebook page, and you know what we're shooting for? We're shooting to tie Hank Aaron's home run record of
Whoa.
755.
All right.
You know, so we're shooting for 755, and then
Thanks, Chip.
and when we get number 756, it's going to be PED free.
I didn't use your line when we hit the 600.
But
Yeah, I was going to, but I've saved that for you.
on September the 3rd, two gentlemen who are both in the Hall of Fame now, each hit their 400th home run. One happened in the 60s, one happened in 1993. Cal Ripken Jr. and Ernie Banks.
Wow.
Each hit their 400th home run on September the 3rd.
Really?
So, you know, these are guys that, you know, did it legitimately without any enhancements or anything like that. But
Hey, Chip, I got a friend named Ernie Banks on Facebook. You need a couple more Ernie Banks if you're listening. Friend Chip here. We're trying to get him to 100 at least. Break the century. He doesn't care.
I don't know where I'm at. Everybody that friend requests me usually gets it okay.
Friend Chip on Facebook.
I look
Friend
back on
Chip.
some of them and I scratch my head. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk
after
about
the show. After the show.
Okay.
But that's Chip's trivia for this week.
Well, thank you. You covered a lot of areas and a couple bonuses there. Thanks.
A couple of bonuses.
Appreciate it.
Hey, those home run hitters that did it legitimately, man, they need to be recognized.
Right. And then we're going to do a new segment, Chip. This is with the football. You want to do the,
Yeah,
the
we
pick
can
now
do it.
well, before we go into any of the other teams we want to talk about?
What we're going to do this year for the regular season, we're each going to pick out of a hat. I've got 16 pieces of paper with games listed. We're each going to pick two, and we're going to make our football picks weekly. There's no chance of anybody doing any studying beforehand or checking scouting reports or injury reports or who's at home and who's away. So we're going to be doing this every week. We're going to keep a running tab as the season goes on. There's going to probably be some kind of fabulous trophy. Who knows what we can get made. Maybe we can get to Bethel Bakery to make us an edible one.
Hey, my daughter might be able to make us a trophy there. I'll see what my daughter can come up with.
Here's one. Why
We'll
don't we
just
all
pull
just
them
grab
off the table.
We'll grab everybody.
How about everybody take one, and then let me grab
Grab
a close one. Okay.
And take another.
Take another.
There we go.
Go ahead, Al.
Whoa, I can't reach that one. I think that's a winner. Whoa. That's a
there's a
winner.
winner.
I don't even know what's on it.
Okay.
Smoking Jim, you're eyeing them up pretty good there. Grab one.
Okay, I can see who Jim has there.
You can see
All
mine?
right, so I guess
We
I'll
got-
go first. I got my first game, Houston at San Diego, or Houston and San Diego, and I will pick Houston as the winner of that game. And the second game on my list is Seattle at Carolina, and I will take the Seahawks.
Oh, man.
I'm next, Al.
Yeah, you're next. But I'm in this command position, so I got to study a little bit.
I got Tennessee versus the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Ah,
and I got the Pittsburgh Steelers in a blowout.
yay, Steelers, one win.
And next game I have Denver Broncos versus the Baltimore Ravens. That's Thursday.
That's Thursday night.
That's Thursday night. I got, let me see, the Ravens can't win without Ray Lewis, so I got Denver blowing them out.
Whoa. All right.
With Von Miller watching from the sidelines.
There you go. All right, my first one is New England and Buffalo. I'm not going to hesitate. New England.
You go ahead and take the Bills.
I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence.
Levine's going to win again.
Hold it, wait. Do a Johnny Carson, the Great Kreskin.
Yeah. The amazing
Detroit.
thing.
This is Detroit and Minnesota.
That's a tough one.
Minnesota.
And should we pick for Lil Z?
No, let him carry us
You know
on.
what, we'll carry this on. You know, maybe next week what we'll do is we'll get him a chance to,
Well, he'll be at Monday night. We have a special.
yeah, we'll pick our names.
Yeah,
Monday
Z's
night.
going to be there.
Yep.
we
Yeah, if
gotta-
he can't be here on Tuesday, we'll do our picks on Monday night.
We'll get Z in the game. This will be his
And
bye
that
week.
won't have anything to do with Jim's Monday night lead pipe lock.
Oh, man. Why didn't?
Because that's Mr. Monday night over here, right?
Well, you know what? Monday night he started out, as long as he didn't do that lead cinch pipe thing, he had some nice wins in a row. It's when he threw out the lead cinch pipe. But why didn't you tell me, since we're talking about betting? And believe me, these are friendly bets.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody goes to a bookmaker and they don't even know. Okay. That's a disclaimer. He's running off the reservation, folks. He's out of the Bethel Park neighborhood. Okay.
We're betting cupcakes.
Yeah. One cupcake against
And if they
yours.
come after me, I'll change my name again.
He'll be Smoking Joe Frazier. Because I'm tired of saying that's Smoking Jim Frazier. But why didn't you give me the lead cinch pipe bet
My fault.
on
should have.
Pitt?
I should have. What easy money that was.
That was, and you didn't even call me or text me. You were texting other stuff. Oh man, we got to move on here. Let's talk some Steelers here.
Yes,
we didn't beat that up yet. With the Steelers there, look at the players they got rid of. People were asking about Dwyer. Why'd they get rid of him? That's why. If you can raise your arm up after each play, they got to get rid of you. You're tapping out.
Well, here's what I didn't like about that is, Dwyer, number one, is an extremely talented guy. One of the mock drafts prior to him coming out after his junior year, where he ran back-to-back 1,300 yards for Georgia Tech, is he was picked to go 11th pick overall to the San Diego Chargers in the first round. And
wow.
And for him to fall to the Steelers in the fourth round was great. Now, he was an immature kid, 20 years old, always out of shape, but he came to minicamp last year. Now, he would lead the team in rushing a year ago. Showed some signs of being a pretty good back. Pretty nifty at his size, but the Steelers asked him to come to training camp in shape, and for the most part, he did. He came in shape. The Steelers have a bunch of Brittle brothers in the backfield. They're all hurt. He was the only one that stayed injury-free throughout the preseason. And I thought it was real dirty for them to get rid of him. I think the cut should have been LaRod Stevens-Howling as a third down back at 5'7", 175 pounds. He doesn't fit what we want to do because he's not being able to pick up a block like against a James Harrison or something like that. Doesn't have the size, but clearly it was Todd Haley's pick. That was Todd Haley that brought in Stevens-Howland, and Todd Haley is obviously running the offense. So I thought it was a mistake for them to get rid of Dwyer when they did.
Well, and Jim, I respect your opinion.
Thank you, sir.
You watch more game film. You know more about these athletes, and what I've seen of Dwyer. Last year he had flashes of brilliance, and then he had flashes of mediocrity as well, showing when he was kind of disinterested. And I only got to see probably about, maybe 1.5 of the preseason games. And the one game I saw him, he was the only back that was healthy. But, I just wasn't very impressed with what I saw of him. I didn't see in him a desire to pick up a blitzing safety, and I think, here's a kid that has all the talent in the world, and he's been given chance after chance after chance, and it just doesn't seem to click to him like, I need to start taking this seriously. And once again, we're not going to know what anybody was thinking, but, I wasn't completely shocked that he was gone. I just wish that the kid would have seen how serious his position was, and stepped up and said, made a statement to the point where there's no way that you can consider cutting me. And unfortunately, I saw in him the disinterest that we saw in Mike Wallace last year, and you know how much of a cancer that was to the team last year. There's no way that they were ever going to re-sign Wallace after the behavior that he displayed last year.
Well, the one thing, and I told Al Levine, the talking machine, and I also posted it on our sports group that we're both a part of, that I knew the Pittsburgh Steelers would keep Felix Jones, even though he was cut by two teams pretty much in the offseason. Back when I was with the Steelers in 2008, the Pittsburgh Steelers had Felix Jones rated higher on their board than Rashad Mendenhall. They always was enamored with a guy that size with that much speed. And here's a guy who hasn't been healthy since junior high school, so it's a big risk. But the Pittsburgh, he's run well in preseason. He sort of fits this offense pretty good when he's healthy. and the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, has already anointed him the starter against Tennessee. So
I heard them mentioning tonight that and I don't know, this is always subject to change, that they were going to they were penciling in Redmond as a starter for this Sunday against Tennessee. But you know, and here's another situation where you got Felix Jones, a former #1 draft pick. You know, once again, here was somebody that didn't perform up to expectations for the Cowboys. He was disappointing. He would have, you know, a series of good games, and then he would disappear, you know. And I'm just wondering if, like, maybe, you know, after, he gets dumped by Dallas, gets picked up by Philadelphia, which really wasn't a good fit for him because Philadelphia's, who's going to start in front of LaShawn McCoy? Nobody, okay? Maybe he realizes that, you know what, this is my last chance if I want to be an NFL running back, and maybe he's going to get his head out of his hind end and show what he can do. I don't know. I wish something like that would have happened to Jonathan Dwyer, because, you know, I mean, I like the tool set that he brings to the table. It's just that, you know, it's that thing in here.
I'd like to get some of the Steeler running backs to have an appointment with Dr. Newhart, because they all got mental problems.
Is he still practicing? He's a little older now. Well, here's what I wonder. What about the tight end situation? You know, Heath Miller, everybody's excited about it. He just come off the pup. Why would you even think about playing him?
They're not.
Because we know it's not going to be till October. But again, it's media driven. The Steelers are good at that type of stuff.
Well,
and he looked good with an elephant. I posted that on Facebook. He was at the zoo with a terrible towel and an elephant.
Well, everybody loves that one song by Biggie says, everybody loves Big Papa, or whatever it says. But, hey, the tight end filling in was the basketball player. The offensive lineman fills in pretty good. You know he's not going to catch a pass, but
yeah, that's true. We need a blocker. We need another blocker out there.
Because
we're doing zone blocking.
Yeah, which is another thing.
That's why I had to bring it up.
You know,
we're zone blocking
the zone
out there.
blocking scheme. You know, that offensive line, you know, has not spent enough time together. And I was listening to some people talk that, you know, back when Shanahan used to have the zone blocking scheme at Denver, what he had was a bunch of veteran linemen that knew what they were doing, and they knew what their roles were, and they actually knew what was going to happen in the play before the ball was snapped, where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, they were going to cut your knees out from under you. There was
right.
some mean
But I
dudes
mean, we've got a very young, inexperienced offensive line, and the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. And the only thing that's going to fix that is for them to play together. And I just hope Ben doesn't get killed in the process. You know, because I heard somebody that was affiliated with Sports Illustrated say they were picking the Steelers to win the AFC North Division, okay, to end up playing the 49ers in the Super Bowl and losing to them, and Ben Roethlisberger being league MVP.
Well, I know a magazine that's about to come out that's going to be better than Sports Illustrated.
Well, we'll get to that later. But, yeah, I just hope that Ben can stay
Who's
healthy.
on the cover?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, the jinx. The jinx, yeah.
It'll be a non-jinx.
No, but you know,
magazine.
Sports Illustrated has already picked the Seahawks and the Patriots to be playing in the Super Bowl, and they've picked the Seahawks to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl this year. That's who Peter King picked.
Who did he pick?
The Seahawks and the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
What about San Francisco?
Wow.
You know,
I like them a little bit.
Here's the thing with these teams that you look what the Jets did. They had a couple of years where they would NFC Championship game. These teams only get a couple of years, and then what happens is everybody else catches up to them. You know, whatever they were doing that was successful for them, people study the film, they devise systems to shut down what they do well, and then once injuries
salary
take
cap
into
too.
effect.
Salary cap's another thing you got to look
San
at.
Fran is actually San Fran is loaded again this year, and so is Seattle, and so is Arizona, all in the same
Well,
division.
we know you're Arizona. Pittsburgh West is. We'll see what
The
happens.
genius,
with Pittsburgh West.
Bruce Arians.
Well, he's only an offensive genius, so the defense. We'll see what happens.
But
in
there's a
Arizona.
reason why they play the games, right, Tim?
That's true.
And we got to take our hats off to Bruce Arians, who didn't allow Larry Fitzgerald to go to the Hall of Fame to see Chris Carter, his mentor, but he did move practice up earlier on Monday so that Larry Fitzgerald could fly to University of Pittsburgh.
See,
where he
you got
only,
one of my segments there. Let's
Oh,
go
I'm
right
sorry.
in it. No, carry it on.
where
That's
he only,
a great point.
Where he only played 2 seasons.
That's
and
what I
and-
wanted to
and
ask
didn't
you.
get his degree, but they retired his number, and I'm sure he'll get his degree from University of Phoenix.
But it does look nice up there by Marina. They had the nice banner with them, number 1.
And Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
They
Tony
should have
Dorsett.
retired. They should have retired Mike Dicka's number before Larry Fitzgerald him out.
They haven't.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just Dorsett, Marino, and Larry Fitz. I
Well, a
believe.
couple guys older and
Oh, did they? Some
yeah,
older guys.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah,
there's
back in
there's
the
plenty of
before the
people.
day, buddy.
Before 1947.
Yeah, I think so. Because they won a lot of championships back then.
The brothers don't pay attention to anything before 1947.
Let me write that down because I'm starting to forget that. I'll have to bring that up on another show. And I'm still waiting for you and Bill Neal to discuss Pittsburgh sports line. And I saw your latest article on the Whippeal, buddy. Great article.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And speaking about the Whippeal, high school football kicked off this past weekend,
Yes,
and one of the games that caught my eye, I was witnessing the playoffs last year, and I watched Woodland Hills take apart Upper St. Clair last year in the
that's
playoffs,
right.
and they just, and it was funny because the week before, Upper St. Clair just completely dismantled Central Catholic, and I was like, wow, who's going to beat this Upper St. Clair team? And Woodland Hills smacked the snot out of them. But then Upper St. Clair went to the Wolverina this past Friday night and got payback, and they beat the Woodland Hills.
As a matter of fact, bringing up Central Catholic, on the show Monday at SIPS, Central Catholic starting center,
Wow.
Eric McAllister, who I just got an offer from the head football coach of FAMU, Florida A&M, which is Holmes, our former linebacker for the Steelers.
Right.
LaVon Kirkland is the defensive coordinator. Ernie Mills is the wide receiver coach.
Mm-hmm.
And they've I talked to them.
They extended an offer to
270 pounds. They got an offer already extended to him. Earl Holmes. Earl Holmes is the head coach, so he'll be
Not
on our.
Ernie. He wasn't shooting any helicopters.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So he'll be on our show on Monday, and he is the starting center for Central Catholic
Well, I tell you-
University, and at least he has one offer.
I don't know what this quarterback's name was for Central Catholic last year.
JJ.
This kid was stood a whole head taller than
He's
all
one
the
of
other
Florida
kids,
State.
and he has a big arm.
Now, would you?
He's got a
Really?
professional
Now,
arm.
if you're his dad, he's already made a verbal commitment to Florida State, and he's my preseason Quad A MVP Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Would you continue to go to Florida State when they have famous Jameis as their quarterback right now, and he's a freshman?
I'd let him play a whole year to see what James
You know,
does.
I mean, you know.
Okay, that was Pitt. No offense, Pitt
Hey,
fans. I'm a
Jim,
Pitt fan.
hey, Jim,
Let him play about 6 games.
to answer,
Okay, please.
a verbal commitment is just that. It's a verbal commitment. If I was that young man, I would certainly keep my options open, and just continue to play. You never know. That kid last night came out looking like, a Hall of Famer. But you know what?
But you know who's the number one receiver for Central Catholic University?
Tell us.
And led the team in receiving last year. Lynn Swan's son, Schaefer's son.
There you go.
Nice.
Schaefer Swan. Can you imagine Lynn Swan having a son that can catch the football?
Let me think about it.
Total stretch, man. I would have never guessed. I'd have never guessed. No, but I'll tell you what. That quarterback for Central Catholic last year, even in a losing, they Upper St. Clair put it on him pretty good that day. I was just impressed by how big the kid was, the pocket presence that he had, and he threw a couple of balls long, and he overthrew his receivers. But I was just like, wow, he could chuck the ball.
And Rivals.com had Gateway ranked number 23 in the country, so let's hope they move up a little bit this
Hold
week.
it. That's one of your picks here. My goodness. Follow Smoking Jim Frazier. Wait till his book comes out. Some of these stories may be in it. I'm thinking with all the stuff he's talking about, he's giving little hints here, folks. That book's going to be tremendous.
And I knew him when he was just a little sports editor.
And then if you see a different show popping up, what's this show? SCTV, which is 3 minutes and 50 seconds. We got teased with it a week or so ago. Now I saw SCTV again, appeared on my Facebook page. with Smoking Jim Frazier, Kevin Ellerby, and Alicia Sparks.
Well, you don't want to be teased by China. She is one of the most built girls in the country. You got to take a
No, I meant
shower.
with video.
Oh,
guys.
with video. Okay.
Video
Yeah.
guys, folks.
Yeah.
What do we show here?
Yeah,
It's a
see.
disclaimer
Woo.
from Smoking Jim.
Woo.
He has ladies' night at Sip Sports Bar. Don't let your minds wander too far.
But
And I've met China. She's a beautiful woman, and she's got talent with this video and stuff that she puts out. Just the graphics, the whole show. Very nice, professionally done. So
Well,
just check it out. Some good topics.
Well,
there.
we bought a building downtown, and we're converting it into a television station. So we hope that SCTV is nationally syndicated by the end of the year.
I thought you were going to say end of the week because you're holding back on me. You know some stuff. That's okay if you sign those non-disclosure agreements. If you ever hear NDA, it's
maybe,
not a basketball league.
Maybe dog years, but end of the year. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm hopeful. Well, good luck to you because it's a great show. I like the format with Alicia, bringing out the questions and everything. She's fine there. So
How about the Pirates trades this past week?
let's go there.
Let's go there.
Big trade.
Neil Huntington, I think, has just about cemented the
Ray Shero Award in baseball.
the Executive of the Year award in Major League Baseball. He made a couple of big trades this past week. Moves that actually needed to be made. They were moves that he chose not to make on July the 31st,
Right, the deadline.
because the asking price at that time was too great. They didn't want to give up so much of our talent. And you think about what we gave up to get these three ball players. We've got Marlon Byrd, we've got John Buck, who's a veteran catcher. In his first game he played, he was 3 for 3.
But he used the hits though.
Marlon Byrd, the first game he played in a Pirates uniform. He the first time up just drilled a ball, and the pitcher just flinched, and the ball ended up in the pitcher's glove, and McCutcheon got doubled off first base. The next at bat, he had a 14-pitch at bat that lasted about 9.5 minutes, and absolutely wore out Tom Gorzelani for the Milwaukee Brewers. So much so that from that point on, he got completely shelled. And then just to put the icing on the cake.
I'm going to interrupt you on that. You'll see something, folks, if you go back. That's one of the few times in baseball history you'll see a standing ovation
for a strikeout.
That's rare that it happens.
And I was there standing. And
this guy was
clapping.
leading them. He was going like this, folks. He's doing the wave with them.
I don't do the wave.
Wave.
No, I don't do the wave.
Wave.
Okay, no.
John the intern, he's waving.
But his third at bat hits a 3-run home run.
Yes.
And so they have now dubbed the ivy in the center field as the bird's nest.
They're going goofy with all these birds.
But I mean, what the Pirates gave up. Really, they gave up a young, promising arm, a fireballer named Vic Black.
Right.
As the player to be named later, pun
shortstop.
intended. And also, they to get Justin Morneau from the Minnesota Twins, they gave up Alex Presley, and they gave up another player to be named later, and his name is Duke something or another. Just somebody that's very nondescript, but what they were able to get these guys for, what they gave up for them, they didn't sell their soul to the devil. Right. They didn't give up the top prospects in our farm system, because these are players that are going to be on our roster in the coming years. They're going to be the ones that are going to keep us where we are right now. And I think getting the Pirates to the point where they're at right now, where they're competitive, where they're leading the division, and they are playoff bound, keeping them there now is going to be the harder task. Getting to where they're at right now was a monumental task, but it isn't going to be nearly as hard as staying where they're at. And that will be really the interesting thing to see, because now that we've all had a taste of what it's like to have a pennant race and to have winning baseball,
it's here.
We're not going to accept anything less.
No, and it won't be a successful season if they just end up a little bit over 500, 2 or 3 games. To me, you're a division champ right now. All you got to do is just close it out this way. This is a pennant race. Look at, you're beating the Cardinals. People are afraid of it. I'm not going to talk whether the talent's diluted everywhere, but we're right in the mix with it. They made some nice picks, and here's what I like. You got the management finally showed up where they've got players for 1 month. They're renting them for basically a month.
That's it.
Who cares? This is a pennant race.
Yep.
They're saying they're all in. Let's win.
And
You can quote me, all in. Let's win.
And they've proven it
I like that.
beyond any question of a doubt. And
it's a good feeling to have that happen in Pittsburgh
but
after all these years.
Right now we are playing in the best division in baseball, the National League Central Division. 3 teams from the National League Central Division will make the playoffs this year. They're going to have a division winner and both wild card teams. Now the Braves and the Dodgers will be the other 2. So when the Pirates do make the playoffs, it's not going to be like they played the Little Sisters of the Poor. They're playing some of the best talent in baseball.
Right.
And we've talked about the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's not forget. The Cincinnati Reds are a very good baseball team. They won the division last year. They've got Joey Votto. They've got Brandon Phillips. They've got some good pitchers. Jay Bruce. They've got some guys on that team
Alan Craig,
that can bring.
He's
on the
St.
Cardinals.
Louis. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking how they beat us.
So we talk about St. Louis a lot, but I believe we have 9 or so games left against the Reds. I know that the last home, the last homestand which is the 20th, 21st, and the 22nd of September. We play Cincinnati here, and then we end up the season in Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. So it could come down to those last 2 series.
Let's hope that Cincinnati does what they're doing now, beat the Cards again. We got a game tonight at 10 after 8. You can watch the Brewers lose again. That'd be great.
The only thing is about the kid that's pitching for the Brewers tonight, Gallardo. Yeah. I don't know what it is. He's a mediocre pitcher against everybody else, but he just lights it up. I mean, he shut us out Thursday night, and
Well, we're
hitting a cover. We're hitting a cover off the ball Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday night we couldn't hit.
Yeah.
Was it too late to get a bet in with my guy?
No.
On that Grenard?
No, it's not too late to go Brewers. You got to check the runs. But we're going to wrap this show up. We're down to the last minute or so. Smoking Jim, what else do you got? I mean, serious stuff that you have. Your bookmaker call later.
Well, I was very. I love the local high school talent here in the area. I think that we have some of the best talent anywhere in the country. Still underrated. Tyler Boyd, very impressive. I've seen him play in the Big 33 game this year, and I knew that he would be successful. I think that Pitt has to find more ways, and me and Chip was talking about that earlier, to get that kid the ball, maybe even as a tailback a little bit. But a special young man, special kid, so go Tyler Boyd.
Absolutely.
Chipper, last comments?
Last comments, eagerly anticipating the 81st win this evening, and I'd like to see the Pirates sweep the Brewers, and we get a day off, and then we got the Cardinals in St. Louis. So, I'd like to see them take another 2 out of 3 from St. Louis this week and finish out the week on top.
Well, thanks a lot for that. Thank you for watching our show. Thanks for Chris here on the camera. John, the intern's still here with us on the camera. Devin and Aaron in the control room running this show. Appreciate it. Thanks to Dave Cable here for letting us out there. Thanks to all of you for watching the show. Let's go Bucks. Let's go Steelers here. Let's go Pitt.
And Little Z, you weren't here in body, but you were here in spirit, brother.
Yeah, and we'll see. Come the Monday night at SIPS. Come between 7 and 7:30. You can meet us there. Maybe we'll even interview you if you have some great sports stories. Just check it out, and we'll see you. Keep updated on Facebook. We also have a boxing match. Ted Merconja's gym will be fighting in Brookline, the Brookline Community Center. Mike Bayans, the Hall of Fame boxer, he said, come on out there. They'll be boxing. Check Facebook to see the times and everything. A lot of great fights there. Thanks for watching the show, folks.